The middle of Iowa is typically what you'd consider a flyover state. Today, we're gonna fly, but it'll be on the 3/4 mile oval in Newton. Welcome to SimTV. My name's Kyle Heyer, joined by Finney and DeCuna for the next round of the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series as we head to this tiny little short track bull ring for some Monday night short track racing action. Last week we were at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Las Vegas Bull Ring where things got wild. Some scores were settled over and over and over and over and over again. But now we head to a track a little bit bigger, lets everyone spread out a little bit more, but it's still a short track. It's still going to be some great racing tonight. 170 laps on the board.
Yeah, every time we come to Iowa, we always talk about, this place, while it's not necessarily a short track, it definitely drives like one due to its unique configuration. And definitely I think is probably a fan favorite amongst NASCAR fans. Again, a lot of people always still ask, when is this track finally going to get its cup date? Definitely deserves it. I think a lot of people think it deserves it, and it's only a matter of time. But here we are, and I guess really the next best thing, we're here with the ARCA cars, which essentially used to be the Cup cars way back when. Here we are for 170 laps.
So 170 laps are on the board tonight. It is nighttime now as we head down to the racetrack for qualifying. And last week we had just about 20-25 cars at the Las Vegas Oval. Then we went to the road course, or not the road course, the bull ring up the road, and we did a little bit of beating and banging there for a little while. So now that we've kind of had that, gotten that out of our way, thank you for, by the way, it's 7/8 of a mile racetrack, not 3/4. My fractions are a little bit discombobulated tonight. Let's apologize for that. 7/8 of a mile, that sort of thing. And so anyway, qualifying underway. Track length aside, it's still less than a mile. It's still what I consider a short track. And pretty quick laps here, too, about 23 seconds around, very similar to Richmond in a lot of different ways. But Richard Hines currently on top of the board. Surprising time for the 87, jumped straight to the top. Other drivers we're keeping an eye on tonight are the 54, Matt Grunberg, as always. However, tonight is a special night, Finian. Tell me why.
Yeah, so we got a cartoon theme going on. This is a classic thing. The 3-Wide's done this every year for the last bit with them. 2018 we did it with the trucks, then we had the trucks and the Cup cars last year as well, and here we are with the Grand National cars doing the same thing. You can see Tanner Sharp's got Simpsons on board with his Mountain Dew sponsorship, and I really like how he implemented this. It's very nicely done.
Very cool looking indeed. There's a lot of drivers in the field that are running special paint schemes. How about Corey Lindsay with the Batman logos on the hood of that race car as he comes across the line to put his first time down at 24-1. Will put him 12th best. A lot more paints in the field to go through. Here's Chad Framefield. Nothing, he's got something on the hood of this car here as he rolls down into turns 1 and 2. On the brakes,
Bugs
Bunny. That's my dad's favorite cartoon. On the Menards Pontiac this week. Nathan Velez out on track. I think he played ball, but I'm going to be honest. I wasn't a huge cartoons kid, so you're going to have to help me out with a lot of these here, Finian.
Yeah, I don't know what's on the hood of his car. There's just it almost looks like... I don't want to say anything because I'm going to sound like an idiot.
Because no matter what we say, someone's going to get angry that we don't know a particular cartoon. But again, I wasn't much of a cartoon kid. I was a real big nerd, watched National Geographic as a kid. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the 89 car, Brent Miller. He's currently 9th in qualifying. Will head down pit lane to conclude his qualifying efforts. Race Clark out on track, not playing ball this week with the format, but has a good spot. I actually really like the racing stripes with the trees and the sky.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat looking.
This is how, I don't know if you ever saw it, when Honda had they literally just put the map of the Earth on their car in Formula 1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was kind of like that. This is a much better implementation of it, because I do also dig it, having it with the...
I was thinking of Justin Allgaier's car, and this is particularly fitting because Justin Allgaier's had Brandt on which is like an agricultural company or whatever.
Oh,
they had corn as the...
Oh, yes, I remember that car.
As the stripes on that car, so that's kind of what it reminded me of. Jeffrey Fisher's out on track. He is playing ball tonight with I'm Mr. Meeseeks on the side of his car.
Yeah, this is a newer cartoon. I haven't seen it. It's on Nickelodeon.
Again, everyone's getting so triggered right now. They're like, why don't you know that? Well, because
this one I'm
too young for this.
we're definitely no, we're too old for this.
Too old for that, but too young for most of the other ones. So most of the field is qualified. 17 drivers have put times on the board. Remainder, the last 8 or so have not. Jeffrey Fisher, Matt Grunberg, one of the drivers who has not. He's got something or other on here. Can't quite tell. You knew what was on this. Zim, something or other?
Oh, Invader Zim, yeah.
Invader
I never
Zim.
watched that as a kid. It was on Nickelodeon. It was a classic one. I wish I did. I thought it was creepy as a kid. I didn't watch it.
Everyone's getting so triggered. We're not gonna. No one's gonna be happy. Anyway, 20 seconds left in qualifying. Tonight's race, 170 laps. That's not a particularly short race by these guys' standards. So we did a doubleheader last week. So this is gonna feel a little bit longer than we had last week. Even though last week ended up being a really long stream because of the two races. One of them ran a little long because of all the accidents. But I haven't seen Tom and Jerry. I haven't seen Pink Panther. That was my favorite cartoon.
Seen Tom and
No, I've seen it. I'm saying we don't have a car that has the paint on it.
I see. Okay.
The
I
program.
was going to say, how on earth have you
Tom and
not
Jerry is
seen
like, okay, I
Tom
watched that
Jerry?
and I watched Pink Panther.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Da-da, da-da, da-da. Oh, man. All right. Let's get down to the racetrack. Let's roll through our starting lineup just after we take a look at our weather here tonight. It is cloudy skies here. A little bit after 8 p.m. and track surface nice and cool. Going to be very grippy out there this evening.
Yeah, indeed. And again, these guys are going to be able to have quite a bit of fun playing with that grip, especially sending to the corners. You're going to see a lot of passes on the entry. I think, with the grip, using that to their advantage. The inside lane definitely going to be the place you want to be at a track like this.
Take a look at our starting lineup on the front row tonight. It's going to be the number 87 of Richard Hines' first pole in a very long time. He'll roll off on the front row alongside Chad Frankenfield, the number 15 out of Pennsylvania.
Moving on back to row number 2 is going to be Matt Hackathorn in the 84. Next to him, Justin Coe is going to line up in the 52 in 4th.
Back in row number 3, it's going to be Race Clark in the number 22 car out of the Carolinas. Tanner Sharp rolls off 6th in his number 3.
Back in 7th place is going to be Brandon Kluser, who's in the 94. On the inside next to him in 8th is going to be Kevin Finn in 14.
In 9th place tonight, Dustin Dewar. He's got the Flintstones on his car in the number 32. Then Brent Miller to his outside. Teenage Newton, the Turtles car.
The Turtles car. Drew Eisman's going to be lining up in the 11th in the 77. Next to him, Nick Indelicato is going to be lining up in the 51.
Michael Goodman in the number 44 out of Indiana rolls off in 13th. Nathan Velez to his outside in the 48 car out of California.
Back in the 28 car in 15 is going to be Josh Clark lining up on the inside next to him. On the outside lane, Corey Lindsay in the 00 in 16th.
Frank Sims starts in 17th with his number 75, right to the inside of Matt Gruenberg, most recent winner in that 18th place number 54.
Back in behind them is going to be James Miller in the 09 lining up in 19th. That is Jeffrey Fisher in the 06 who will be in 20th on the outside.
21st place, Nick Boyd in the 74. That's a new name here this week, running one of the other Camry platforms to join Nick Indelicato. Nick Miller starts 22nd.
Back in 23rd is going to be Jess Story lining up in the 7 car. And next to him, 24th, Alex Boyd in the 10.
And that is going to round out the rest of the grid here tonight. You look very urgently telling me that there's something important.
Nick and Alex were supposed to be at Vegas last week. Remember we got the message from that?
Yeah.
Father and son?
Yes. Oh, right. So now they're finally here, it looks like. That's really cool to see. So happy belated birthday to Alex Boyd again. I think it was Alex or maybe it was Nick. I can't remember which one was the younger of the two. But as we come out of turn number 4 here, Finn, we're going to go around another time before we turn them loose. 170 laps. If this race goes green from start to finish, it'll be in about an hour and 7 minutes, a little bit longer than we're used to seeing with this group. Jess Story did not take the grid in his number 7 car, so he will not start with the rest of the field. So Richard Hines, a strong qualifying effort in the 87. He's going to lead us down to the green flag here in just a moment. Thank you all again for joining us here on SimTV. If you're brand new, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Plenty of racing. We also got the Erska series. They're at the Charlotte Roval right now, probably hippity-hopping, bumping over the curbs down in the chicanes and probably having a miserable time. We'll be short track racing tonight, enjoying our time. Tomorrow night, Fuel Premier Series action takes us to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Benny will be running that stream. I'll be running Grid Life iRacers Quarantine Cup with MX-5s out of Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. That'll be on the Grid Life YouTube channel tomorrow night at 9. Here we come out of turn number 4. Pace car is going to pull off. Pace truck, rather. Going to bring us down for 170 laps in the cornfields of Iowa. Green flag flies, and we're racing in the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. Oh, is there trouble for a second? I saw this car sliding. I think it was Matt Hackathorn's number 84.
Frank Sims also sideways off at turn 4. The guy's already struggling a little bit with some low grip on the inside lane. At least I think if you can arc the corner, you can be pretty fine keeping that car planted, but trying to keep this hook to the inside, you can definitely be prone to that rear coming around on you.
Gonna try 3 wide at the exit of turn number 2. The 44 of Michael Goodman's in the middle of everybody. The 06 and 09 on the high side. Maybe a little bit of contact here. Sim's gonna push up. The 44 does as well. But the 09's on through. The 32 car of Dustin Dewars on the apron on the front straight as we're double wide into turn number 1. Getting real wild back here for about 6th and 7th spot. Fit on the outside, and there's the 84 dropping backwards on the inside.
Yeah, solid scrap for a position there. You see the 51 of Indelicato. I thought he was going to look up the inside of Hackthorne. Decided to go on the top side. Make a pass. We've got a caution in the back.
Whoa.
Looks like Clark and Goodman have gotten to each other.
Whoa, okay. Looks like he's got hydraulics on the nose. That car goes around for a spin, as does the 44 of Michael Goodman, who was really struggling. The hood pushed up on that car. And the front end of that thing also pretty destroyed.
Yeah, Joe on that car as well. Unfortunately, he was involved with the 28. I think this is his classic hit the apron.
No, he might have gotten... Oh, the 75 is going to get loose. Turns the 28 across the nose of the 44. And they go into the wall. Nothing that Goodman could have done there, really.
Let's take a look at this from up above if we can. I think they were almost 3 wide. I think Frank Sims is kind of out of a place to go.
Yeah, he might have gotten touched from the 44, actually. Be right on board with Michael Goodman. We might get a better look at exactly what led up to this incident. No, there was maybe a little bit of a touch, but either way, didn't work out well for these two cars. Then the 28 went bouncing down the racetrack. A lot of pressure in those tires, I think. A couple drivers will hit pit lane 5 laps in here to this race. Got 2 cars damaged, Clark and Goodman, although the damage model right now is very easily fixable on these cars, so you can repair any damage that you might have found on your vehicle. But up at the front, Richard Hines hangs on to lead. He drove away from Frankenfield. He's got a lot of pace tonight.
Yeah, definitely showing a bit. And I think it's been a while since we've seen that 15 mech in victory lane. I feel like we haven't seen him there.
Yeah, not in 3 wide in a while.
Yeah, so I think he's definitely going to be looking for a victory. That's been kind of eluding him for a bit. We'll see if he can pull it off. And how about Richard Hines, too? I don't think we expect to see this 87 talk about winning in a long time. I can't honestly remember.
I don't think he has since we've been streaming, at least not in a race that we streamed live for. Maybe back in the trucks at one point.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're going to go be the stats guy for a second as we come on through. The cautions at Iowa typically run about a lap and a half or a lap or 2 longer than we would typically see at other racetracks. This is going to be a couple more laps around, but Drew Eisenman in the field, another driver that's not participating in the cartoon situation tonight. Here is Matt Grunberg's 54.
Here's the thing, as far as I can tell, according to all the races posted to Dan Lee, so Richard Hines has not won.
Well, he's got a lot of pace tonight, although he has not the quickest lap so far. The quickest lap belongs to Chad Frankenfield back in 2nd place by about a half a tenth of a second. So we'll see. He was pulling away, though, for a little bit. If he can just do this for the rest of the night, he'll be in a great spot.
His highest finish is 2nd, and he's done that twice, so how would it be for the 87 to finally get his first win? He's been in 3 I think, for quite a while, if I'm not mistaken.
At least 2 or 3 years. That's how long we've been broadcasting for them. So pace truck's going to come out at turn number 4, and we'll re-rack them, restack them for a restart here at lap number 7 or 8 or 9, depending on when the lights shut off. There they have, so we'll get restarted at lap number 8. And it looks like Josh Clark is a lap down, but still rolling, and all the damage on that car has been mostly repaired. The rocker panel, side panel of that car, kind of clipping through the sheet metal, but right front still a little dinged in, but otherwise in okay shape.
Going up also with Chad Frankenfield too. Last time we seen him in victory lane was at COTA in the Truck Series last season. That was in October, so it's been definitely quite a while for the 15.
We're also hearing that he was in a Bristol race and was inside the top 5 for about 90% of the race. He got wrecked out, so he's driving angry, says Chuck Sweetie. Thanks, Chuck, for not only joining the Larry level of the YouTube membership, but also filling us in on Chad Frankenfield's situation here tonight. Here we come out of turn number 4. Restart lap number 8. Out front is Hines and Frankenfield. 3 wide Grand Nationals back underway here from Iowa Speedway. Up up the inside. Is that the 52 of Kolb in a, like an animal, what is that?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Cross, I almost said Animal Farm. different thing as they come out of turn 4. Oh, no! And 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Frankenfield up the middle. And the Kolb card at the bottom of the racetrack.
And Hines almost got a bunch of Hackathorn in the back.
Well, don't panic. Don't panic. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't put yourself in a bad situation. You've had a good start to this race. Don't throw it away right now. For the lead, though, the 15 and 52 still side by side.
Man, especially you got to watch the corner exit. The 52 comes up just a little bit. It's a little bit loose on the bottom, even for the top of Frankenfield as well. Is that 15 going to rip the top lane and make the pass around? Now Tanner Sharp also trying to move that outside lane. And
this 3 car was really fast at the beginning of the season. Really quite seen him as good as he was the first 2 or 3 races, so we know he's certainly hungry behind him. Look at this race into turn 3. Race Clark on the bottom of the racetrack. We almost look like we're going to try 4 wide. We are still 3 with Grunberg up the middle in his 54. Where did he start? At the back, as he normally has, 18th to 11th so far.
Yeah, really seeing the top lane work very well, and I think it's because these guys are so loose at the moment. Really, that inside lane can't go anywhere. You get pinched on exit, and you're struggling to get the power down. You can't use the full track to really get an advantage. So that outside lane definitely where a lot of the guys making their moves. And you saw Tanner Sharp, he's finally gone around Kolb as well. And here comes Klooster, who's making a move, and Indelicado.
It seems like they just put car around the background. It's Dustin Dewar's 32. He gets slammed by the 74, and the 75 get hooked together and do a little dance as they spin across the start-finish line.
It's turning into a breakdancing competition. We saw Clark, bouncing up and down, and these 2 guys doing a little bit of a tango on the front straightaway.
And I'll say. Looks like he just got loose and spins right across the track. The 74, nowhere to go. And then Sims, also the same. Wow, they just grabbed the note. Look at the 28 sneak through there. That was really cool.
Oh, man.
I wanted to watch this in slow motion as they came together here. Parts and pieces flying off the 32, and down the racetrack, Frank Sims nowhere to go. And it looks like the right front wheel lands in the engine bay, and wow, that good thing that the windshield exists in real life, because that would have been pretty gnarly without it. Let's ride on board now with the 28 of Josh Clark, who just snuck through there. Oh, the 74 almost missed it. Oh! And also on board with the 74 car of Nick Boyd. Ooh. He tried. Couldn't quite miss it, though. Second caution of the night out, lap number 14, and Nick Boyd hits pit lane to try to fix that car up. At the front of the field, Chad Frankenfield takes over. There goes Josh Clark to take his lap back. And 87 of Richard Hines gets a chance to kind of re-rack, restack, and try this again. We saw him get in the wall at turn 4. You said the cars are loose. I agree with you. I think they're tight in turn 4, though. So a lot of drivers pushing up. It's either they're tight in turn 4 or they're so loose that they're trying not to oversteer and they're just letting the car drift up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really depends on how they get through the corner. I think, if you're gassing it up in the middle of the corner too early, you're going to find that outside wall pretty early, really, for that matter. We see a lot, especially in IndyCar racing, too. You got to be very patient on the throttle, but a lot of the guys, too, if they're getting on the gas too late or putting it down too aggressively, we're seeing them get loose as well out of turn 4. And that's what I would do. He was trying to save that car, wasn't able to do it, though.
So what else is going on this week? So I mentioned already that we got the Urska series going on right now from the Charlotte Roval. That's run by our good friends Corey Silva and Brandon Cruz. It's kind of taken over for us because we got double scheduled earlier in the season and needed someone to relieve that stress. So that's what they are doing over there. They do a spectacular job. On tomorrow night, we've got the Fuel Premier Series from Atlanta. Finian and Brandon will be on that. I'll be joined by, hopefully, Adam Jabay again in the booth at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta for the Grid Life iRacers Quarantine Cup round number 3. Wednesday is going to be the Renenzo Sports Car Challenge. It'll be myself and IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman in the booth for the next round of the GT4 and TCR Championship from Virginia International Raceway. Thursday night, Scars Ferrari Challenge heads to the Bull Ring at Lime Rock Park. And Friday, the DC region heads to New Jersey Motorsports Park for their next round in their little mini season here this spring. Well, lots of racing going on. Then Saturday, we're back to
Saturday we're off, I believe.
Off for outsiders. I still have work to do for the Sports Car Club of America. They've got their Hoosier SCCA Esports Super Tour, and they are heading to Circuit of the Americas this weekend. So, the big track down there in Austin, Texas. I'll be broadcasting that. I will not be commentating. I'll be commentating one of the races, the Spec Racer Ford. The other ones I'll just be behind the scenes. But make sure you head over to not only SimTV, but also the Grid Life channel as well as the SCCA if you want to stay in touch all week long with SimTV action. So, getting lined up for the restart here shortly. We've lost one driver so far, that being Frank Sims in the 75. Dustin Dewar's car is looking a little worse for wear, but he might be able to get it repaired at some point tonight.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get back out on the track, but he took quite a few big hits in that incident, so he might be done for the night, especially being 3 laps down too. It's going to be really hard to come back from.
So keeping an eye on Matt Grunberg, who's won by far the most races of anybody anywhere in this series. He always starts from the back just for a little extra challenge, but he's already made his way up inside the top 10. I expect we'll see more of the same here.
Yeah, lately in this year, in both this and even the super late models, it has been a matter of, it's been a game of how long does it take Grunberg to get to the front. I mean, he might not maintain there, but most of the time he does, and we've seen him get there pretty quickly in some instances, and so far he's up into 9th place. I think, by the time we get to halfway, he's definitely going to be somewhere inside the top 3.
Field heads onto the back straightaway here at the exit of turn number 2. Double file for the restart. Frankfield chooses the outside lane. That doesn't seem that surprising given what we've seen so far.
Yeah, really, the outside lane definitely seems to be the place to be for Tanner Sharp. I'm curious to see what he can do in the 3 to try to mitigate that. Maybe just put himself in the top right in behind the 15, or maybe try to work that bottom lane. We'll see what he can do on the restart.
Pace car rolls off of turn number 4. The 3-wide Grand National Series from Iowa Speedway is back underway. Bad restart for the 3 of Tanner Sharp, and the 52 of Kolb is all over him as they head down to turn number 1.
And here comes Indelicato on the outside of the 51. Ooh, Sharp tries to go up the block. Indelicato still there on the outside lane. Side by side,
wide.
Here comes Kolb up the inside. 3 wide on the back straightaway.
Side by side by side. 3 wide into turn number 3. Freightfield driving away as these guys fight for second. Behind him, Richard Hines trying to rebound from his slide into the wall earlier. Smells blood in the water as the 52 has to back out. He's going to squeeze up against the wall between the 52 and the safer barrier.
Hines really showing that he's got quite a bit of pace, being able to recover from that earlier incident. You see him trying to work around the outside of Kolb. Kolb trying to make his life hard as he's trying to defend that spot, but looks like the 87's going to get him.
Racing all over the track, the majority of it right now for second place. It looks like Indelicato's going to grab it. Sharp cycles to 3rd, Hines 4th. Behind him, Kolb and Klusner, who's now for 5th. And here comes Grunberg, 3 spots gained on the restart. Make it 4 as he sprays on the 94 car right up the road.
Klusner's moving up in that Dodge machine, really running that outside lane, trying to make it work.
I'm surprised at how multi-groove this track has looked so far. We've seen passes on the bottom and the top of the racetrack. I think the top slightly preferred right now, but we're going to see how that changes throughout the night, or if it will change. We've been noticing the dynamic track hasn't been quite as effective as it has been in past iRacing seasons. For the lead, though, here comes Indelicato.
Yeah, looking up the inside lane again. I think the outside lane's a little bit of a better place to be. However, you can run the bottom lane properly. You should be able to make a move up the inside early. This is going to come down to car control. You can see the 51 sliding off of turn 4, trying to keep this car under control.
51 is able to rotate this bottom so much better. Look at the drive. He gets off the corner, a bit of a slip, a bit of a slide, but closes into 1 car length behind the 15 car. Meanwhile, behind him, here comes Grunberg up the inside, working over Drew Eisenman's number 77.
Grunberg restarted 9th, only up to 8th, working on 7th with the 77 Eisenman. I'm able to get on by Hackthorne, also going to go back up to the outside of 54.
Delicato is leaning on the rear bumper of the 15 car, and it's brought also the 3 car of Tanner Sharp into the mix.
Sharp might also be a driver to definitely watch tonight. Has been sticking up on the top 5 all night so far, as young as his race has been. Even there's the 87 too, Richard Hines. He's also closing in.
Into turn 1, 2, and 3 can throw a blanket over him, but Richard Hines was the quickest of all of them last time by, the quickest driver on the racetrack. So Hines has something figured out right now, Finney. He lost the lead by scraping the wall earlier in the race, but look at him drive back to the bottom. He's got something sorted. And Delicato looks high for grip. Sharp sees an opportunity to grab second place, and he gets the drive off at turn 4.
Trying to one-up in Delicato, who's really been preferring that outside lane. Looks like he's not going to deviate from that treadmill. We saw him earlier running a little bit lower, but he's going up high. And this triangle looks like he's just experimenting at the moment.
Yeah, he's searching for grip right now, and he's tried the bottom, he's tried the top. I'm not sure if either one has worked better, but look at Hines on the bottom of the racetrack now, searching for that grip along the yellow line. And there's really no clear indication of where the rubber is right now. It's a pretty green racetrack in terms of where the rubber is laid, so I think everyone's just trying to seek where there is grip, where there is friction. And Hines has found some right against that yellow line in 1 and 2, and kind of middle groove in 3 and 4. Again, he's leaving about a half a car width. Now he's down to the apex. And behind him, Matt Gruenberg was right next to the 77, still fighting the 77 car.
Battle's going to still continue between them. Neither driver really gaining anything at the moment. Gruenberg still working that inside lane. Hines been defending up top, and Hagthorn in behind as well, trying to make the most of this run. There he's going to finally have a look to the outside of Gruenberg. Going into turn 3.
Justin Kolb has launched himself into the battle for third spot. He's going to get by Richard Hines, move him back to 5th. And now Hines seems like he's losing a lot of time on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Hagthorn up the middle. Eisenman stuck against the fence and down into turn 1.
That was the same exact thing we saw with Richard Hines earlier, so luckily he was able to avoid getting a lot of damage to that 77 car, but lost a lot of track position and momentum.
Hagthorn gained a couple spots as these two fight. This is the 87 and the 94. Meanwhile, for the lead, here comes Delicato up the inside of Chad Frankenfield.
Inside lane still really hard to make a lunge. Can't completely send it in. The car's going to get too loose, and you can see he's still struggling to make that pass to the inside lane. He's been trying, though, has not been successful.
Hines back on the bottom, and now I'm starting to get worried because he hasn't been able to get up to the top of the racetrack, so he's still searching for grip down there, and it has gone away.
Yeah, it pretty much has, and I think really you can only, from what we're looking at, it seems you can only really run that bottom lane early on in the run. Afterwards, you need to start migrating up top. You may make a lunge up the inside, but, you know, just running down there, you're going to start to lose some time.
Lusterhuis is kind of backed up to this group again. The 84, the 87, now the 54 getting into the mix. Slow for the 94 on a turn 4. Hagthorn gets kind of boxed in with the 87 to the bottom of the racetrack. Great racing here. Look at how tight this pack is as they exit turn 2.
The big cluster of cars here in the midfield.
It's going to be so much fun to watch. We're going to run on board with Race Clark. What he sees, 3 wide, 4 wide, everybody wide as they come out of turn 4. Well, that was really dicey. Hines found a way in line. It just took using up the nose of Hagthorn's car a little bit as he slotted himself in front.
I really am worried, though, with so many cars close together. If one driver makes a mistake up in the front, it's going to take out quite a few cars, considering they're all so close together.
Yeah, this is very much like a race that you'd see at a plate track. The problem is we're not at a plate track. It's about a third of the size of something like Talladega. So you're right. If someone makes a mistake, you're not going to have a lot of opportunity to kind of figure your way out of it. But here comes Hines back to the 94, regaining pace again now that he's been able to look for some more grip.
Amazing to see how you're talking about multi-groove racing. It really is amazing to see how many different lanes these guys fan out to into the corners.
And out of turn number 2, there is the battle for the lead, and Delicato and Frankenfield side by side for a moment.
Here's a cluster of cars coming out of turn.
Oh my goodness.
Turn 2, and they're all bunched up in behind the 94 and the 87. It looks like there's some faster guys in behind the 84 and the 54.
This is crazy.
In particular, and there's Gruenberg trying to rip the inside lane to maybe have a shot of a dive bomb into one. Can't get it done. Here comes Kevin Finn now looking on the 54 Gruenberg.
Down to the inside. Oh, the 94's in the wall down in turn number 1. He's going to get stuck to it. Trying to get it off the wall. There he goes. He'll lose a bunch of spots, though, and Finn, Hagthorn, Gruenberg will all pick up 1. This
will make Gruenberg's life a little easier. He tries to rip the bottom lane. Kevin Finn in that 14 trying to follow him on through.
Double wide at the exit of 4. 36 laps down. It's about 130 to go, 135 to go this time through. Up at the front of the field, nose to tail, the Delicato, Frankenfield, and Tanner Sharp. It's a 3-car breakaway up at the front.
These guys are on one of their own, and really Justin Coben behind is in no man's land. He's not close to this group up in front, not really that close to the group in behind, speaking of which.
77 of Eisman found his way through that. The 14 and 84 will go low and high, respectively. Here comes the 89 of Miller up the middle. Looks like Grunberg has found his way inside the top 5 right in front of Richard Hines.
Yeah, props to the drivers too for being patient. It's very easy to, just chuck it into the corner and bully people out of their way, but these guys have been patient, working through the traffic, trying to make the passes happen while giving each other room, and it's
oh, look at that. Wow, as you say that, I think it was Jeffrey Fisher that tried to sneak up the outside. That got really tight.
Now he's going to try to come back on exit here, potentially to the inside. No, he's not going to make it 3 wide up the middle. Has the chance to. Going to still be on the outside of Race Clark on the 22 to his inside.
Slicing and dicing here.
Correction to the 06, that paint scheme is a reference to Rick and Morty. I thought it was its own thing.
Oh, I guess it is.
I don't watch Rick and Morty, so that's why I didn't know.
Side by side into 3, there's Brent Miller in the 89. We haven't talked about him a whole lot yet tonight. He started in 10th. Hasn't really gone very much of anywhere, but he's trying to work his way back to where he started, and he'll get it around the 06. Also haven't really seen a lot out of James Miller yet today. Started 19th up to 12th, so he is going forward, just taking his time.
Slow and methodical progress for the 09 Miller.
Already got the targets on the side of the car, so hopefully they won't have to get used tonight. But 130 laps ago, as for the lead, Tanner Sharp is going to go to the front.
Whoa!
Oh, trouble contact between the two second and third place runners in the 15 car. On the outside lane, there was a bit of a touch, but he should be all right.
See, though,
I'm going to go back and quickly look at how, I'm assuming he just ran into the wall out of turn 4. Right there, a little bit loose, going to step up the hill and just catches the fence.
Yeah, and again, that corner is so deceiving on exit. You think you have it cleared, but if you gas up again just a little bit too early, you only realize when it's too late that you're going to get into the wall, and that's exactly what happened to the 15. Was able to win the spot over second from the 51.
How frustrating is it for Nick and Delicato to have that opportunity, and then Tanner Sharp takes it, and now he's actually lost the net position, so that didn't really go the way he wanted. He was really loose out of turn number 4.
He's really pushing their cars to their limits. Looks like actually in behind them, Grumman's caught up to Justin Coe, but in 4th, there he is running the inside lane of the 52.
Hasn't just caught him, he's about to pass him too, but can't get the run off the bottom of the racetrack. So pit window here, Finney, you were saying it was 59?
No, it was 93 laps.
Oh, 93, okay, so a lot bigger number. So we still have a long way to go. Taking a look, we've been out here for about 44 laps, so that's how long the race has been going. So we're about halfway to our fuel window. As Tanner Sharp leads the way by 0.2 of a second over Frankenfield and Delicato. And that 51 is not done yet.
Definitely not done. So a little bit loose on the inside lane. Moving on back, looking at Matt Hackathorn, still working that outside lane. He's been in this group for quite a while. Drifted on back a few spots, it seems, as well.
Nathan Velez in the 48. He started his night in 14th. Another driver that hasn't really gone anywhere yet. Fighting with Jeffrey Fisher for 13th place, and he'll take it.
Sorry, nothing. Velez was really pushing Fisher up a little bit in the middle of the track. They almost got together on each other's quarter panel.
Corey Lindsay, a driver we haven't really seen a lot from yet today, back in 15th place, still stays in line. Up the road, though, Justin Kolb and Ruenberg, they're nose to tail, and now they're side by side as the 54 should be able to complete that pass, and he does. Puts himself into 4th.
Has been pretty quiet for the most part this run. He's been slowly drifting on back, though, into the clutches of Eisem and Finn there you can see in the background. So they've been reeling in that 52 car.
Well, Tanner Sharp has Frankenfield all over the tailpipes down into turn 1, and thought this was going to fizzle out, but no, it has not.
These guys still on each other's bumpers. I am a bit surprised it hasn't fizzled out. I would have thought the gap would have expanded maybe a few times between them, but they're all still close together within hundreds of each other.
I think Sharp is struggling on the older tires right now. Here comes the Delicato, continues to get better, but he's been sliding the rear tires a lot. I don't think he's going to have the longevity that these front two have, as they've been a little bit more conservative with their cars.
Yeah, he's been running with inside lane a lot more, I think, than these two guys up ahead of him as well, so I imagine he's been putting them to good use. However, I think it's going to hurt him in the long run, pace again. We're still barely halfway through this run. as far as fuel is concerned. So you know you gotta watch your tires up quite a bit because we're looking for a really solid green flag run.
And this will really just be a one-stop race if we have a 93 lap pit window, because you can go to the end on just one stop at around lap 80 or lap 90. So consider it a one-stopper for the drivers that have already pit, and for the drivers that have not pit yet. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Here comes Indelicato back to the bottom in 3 and 4 to the underside of the 15. Can he use the 3 car as a pick? Not quite. Struggling to get the power off of 4.
Yeah, especially on the inside lane, at this point in the run, your tires are definitely hurting. I think we've seen almost all the passes really exclusively been on the top side, unless a driver has made a mistake up ahead. Speaking of which, there's Eisenman, and here comes the 09 Miller. He's trying to get around Kevin Finn, stuck on the inside.
Pat Frankenfield, as these guys are battling, he has gone to the lead with a big dive in 3, and here comes a 3 back to the inside. He'll take the lead away.
Under over between these two guys, take a look back at what exactly happened. Like this was just a dive from the 15 down into turn 3.
Yeah, he just is going to go down here and send it, just chucks it down in like Carl Edwards at Kansas in 2008. And
didn't hit the wall.
Couldn't quite make it stick as the 3 car crossed him under.
It was a good attempt, though, at least, you know, try to see how violent it is. Did it do the same exact thing again?
You're not watching a replay, that's live as they come out of turn 4.
He might actually lose another spot here. Here comes Indelicato to his inside.
This might have actually worked if the 51 wasn't there, because he could just keep doing this, eventually just tire out Tanner Sharp. Sharp's going to slide up out of turn 2. Frankenfield getting a little bit impatient. Shot at it, put him on the wall. He walled him into turn 3. Up in the fence is Tanner Sharp. And he'll pull it off the fence. Oh, that's a recipe for war later in the race.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're getting reports that Frankenfield is a little bit irritated from...
Someone really wants to talk to you right now, I can tell you that.
No, it's Blackboard. Oh. The teacher's sending me notifications.
Ooh. Another view here as Tanner Sharp got walled here by the 15. Just lifted up rear tires, then put him in the fence, moved him out of the way. And Indelicato is now your leader, but the 15 still driving so hard right now.
Yeah, like I was saying, before I was really interrupted by my teacher sending me notifications. He
just still sending it right now. It's fun to watch. I just don't see how it's going to be.
No, it's going to, if anything, it's going to help reel in not only the 54 Grunberg, but even Tanner Sharp in the 3, who's right in behind Grunberg. And you know, we were hearing Frankenfield's literature the way a race went earlier on, so driving a little bit aggressively tonight. But you know, that's how
that's really aggressive.
That's how you make enemies, and has definitely made an enemy out of the 3.
He's just absolutely licking the stamp every single lap. He's going to run out of postage here shortly here, Finian. Drag race down the backstretch. And this time he's kind of blocked off by the 51.
They're losing a significant amount of time doing this. They're running 3 to 2/10 off of the guys in behind, and they're catching them in a hurry. And this time across the line, I think they've gone even worse. Indeed, they have for Indelicatos of 25.1.
I think Indelicato's getting tired of this. The 15 car is, if he's out front, he doesn't have to drive like this, but he wants this lead and to hang on to it, and that's how you do it. I mean, now Indelicato's thinking twice. Do I get out in front of this guy? Do I put myself at the risk that the 3 car was just in? But Matt Grunberg from the back of the field is now working his way forward. He's up to 3rd and continuing to just take huge chunks of time off these front 2.
Yeah, cue the Jaws music for the 54 Grunberg as he's trying to chase these guys down. He's eating away at their lead by 3/10 a lap. See how much he's closing again at 3. I'm more curious when the 3 gets back.
He was quicker. He was one of the quicker cars in the top 5 the last time through, so I wouldn't put it past him to get back up to the 15. At some point tonight, I think we're going to see maybe a little bit of retaliation. And Delicato's working his way back up there. It took him a few laps to build the speed back up, but he is looking at the back of the 15 and going to dive up underneath at the exit at turn 2. If he can just get the power down, he will, and close that gap slightly.
Ooh, he's going to have a dive to the inside in turn 3. Not going to be as successful, though, to at least, you know, get on past 15.
You need to make that work, you have to completely clear the driver in front and stomp on the brakes and hope that you can block the crossover, but the 51 unable to commit to that. And Grunberg has been really in about 2/10 a lap. They just destroyed their tires doing all the sliding around for a couple laps. It might have been fun, but it's going to hurt them in the long run here.
Fun is definitely not fast in a lot of cases.
This time through is lap number 60. Next time by will be 110 laps to go. as Matt Grunberg has closed the gap to about 1 second behind this front group of drivers. Meanwhile, Justin Kolb, James Miller. Miller came all the way back from deep in the field. Here he is up inside the top 5. Another driver to keep an eye on, like Matt Grunberg later in this race.
It goes in slowly trickling on back, still running fairly well in 6th place, but he's been passed by Grunberg and now Miller. Miller potentially going to set his sights on some guys further up than him, and he's actually the highest of the drivers that have hit at least once so far in this race, so got some of the newest tires of anyone else out here.
This little fight down into turn 1. The 87 of Hines has massively fallen off. He's back down to 12th in the lineup now after starting on pole and continues to drop down the order, so something not quite right with this 87. Not sure if he's lost the confidence, lost the feel in that car, but continues to go backwards. There is Nick Miller on the 9, way high in 3 and 4.
Kind of searching for grip in that 9 machine. Race Clark in the 22, currently situated in 12th.
These 4 continue their dogfight for what will be about a 12th spot. Back up in the lead, though, and Delicato has reeled in Frankenfield again about a 10th and a half, but Grunberg still looming in the mirror.
Yeah, and still marching for pretty solid progress, about 0.15 seconds faster last lap through than the guys up ahead. So the progress is slowing a little bit for the 54 Grunberg, but still catching. As I was going to say, it looks like they're kind of happy with the way they're running, but Delicato still trying to push up the inside.
I don't think he's willing to sit here. The 54 is the benchmark that you have to beat. I'm not sure any of them are prepared to do that right now if they're concerned about racing each other. And they did that earlier, and it's going to hurt them now. Their tires burned off quite a bit. As we close in on 100 laps to go, Matt Hackathorn has hit pit lane in his 84 because I would guess that he's in his window to go to the end here. That's what, 96 laps? Something like, or actually that's 105, 106.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's way off. He's way off the window. I'm not sure why he's made a trip down. But,
no damage on that car, but I'd be splitting this into a 2-stopper, but I'm not sure why you would do that. But anyway, out of turn 2, now all 3 leaders in the group together. And Tanner Sharp has begun to slightly fall off the pace here.
Yeah, I think he's just been trying to push, potentially driving, when you drive with a bit of steam under your helmet,
steam, lava. He's hot right now.
Yeah. When you drive like that, you definitely start to, push your stuff a lot more. That could potentially ruin your run when you're pushing the tires like that. That might have contributed to his little bit of a fall in pace. Still, I think he's actually catching these guys up ahead. Indeed he is, but not as quickly as Grunberg has. And there you see Grunberg in the 54 right in behind. It's still now, it's finally back to a 3-car battle for the lead.
Oh, here comes Delicato getting a little bit desperate now that he sees the teal 54 approaching. Grunberg's going to run high following the tire tracks of the leader, closing in on 100 laps to go, and here comes Matt Grunberg from the tail of the field up into the top 3, and Delicato's going to pull over and let him by. Now Frankenfield is going to have to defend, but I'm not sure he's got the tire left to do it.
No, I definitely don't think so. As aggressive as it has been, I think he's definitely burned his stuff up in comparison to Grunberg. Grunberg's been very good at maintaining his stuff throughout a long run.
Well, especially when he's not slipping and sliding around.
He's got a great run off of turn 4, build that up perfectly to the inside of the 15. Side by side, going to have a deep dive down to turn 1.
Nice alliteration there. Deep dive down into the dump down there. And as we exit turn 2, Frankenfield's going to hang on the outside lane. So the 54 is going to have to pull a Frankenfield and dive up underneath. And there's Hackathorn on fresh tires. Going to mix this up here through. He's going to go split the difference between positions 1 and 2 out of turn 4. And Grunberg lost a lot of momentum. Here comes Delicato back to the rear bumper.
That's Hackathorn again with fresher tires. Just came down onto pit road.
You feel like Superman on those things, don't you? For Mr. Really Feelgoods.
I think he's kind of hoping a caution goes back out because he's off sequence with everyone.
So 100 laps to go for Chad Frankenfield this time through. Frankenfield, Grunberg, and Delicato, your top 3. Then Sharp, Miller, Kolb, Finn, Eisenman, Velez, and Brent Miller, the rest of your top 10. 100 laps to go at Newton, Iowa this time through.
That pit window would open up in about 10 laps time, even less than that really, but if you really want to make sure, I would say probably about 10 laps, we might start to see some guys trickle down onto pit road.
Down into turn 1, he's going to take a look up underneath. The hole opens on the bottom. And Grunberg just cannot get the drive off, and I think Frankenfield is kind of masking how beat up his tires are by hanging out in that outside groove, keeping the momentum rolling. Now, 3 horses back in the fight in Delicato, Grunberg, Frankenfield.
Yeah, and about Frankenfield, I'll be a little bit more concerned once these guys come down to pit road, because I think once we get some fresh rubber on all these cars, that the maneuverability, I think, increases by quite a bit, and the lines you're able to take him through the corner are going to increase. You can see Grunberg, as quickly as we saw him catch this guy, he's struggling to make that pass for the lead. I think we're still able to defend off even on arguably worse tires in the 54 and behind.
Down into turn number 1, Grunberg's going to dive for the inside lane. Once again, the better used tires on the 54, able to grip that inside lane, but not really carry any more speed than the outside. Math behind that, the farther outside radius you are, the farther up away from the inside of the corner. That's a wider radius, you don't have to slow down quite as much. So Frankenfield's able to carry a lot more speed than the 54 Grunberg. Grunberg has the shorter way around. Great battle for the top spot. It was deeper in the field that most of the racing was happening. But now it's for the top spot.
It really is one of the closer battles on the track, and obviously one of the most important. And I'm just kind of looking behind. You saw a car in the corner of the screen, James Miller. He's also starting to track these leaders down. Yeah,
by about a 10th a lap the last time through. So as these 3 all run together, I think Frankenfield is the weak point right now, kind of holding up the 54. Now Delicato goes back through to second. James Miller is tracking these guys out. It's going to be a 4-car race, and then there's Tanner Sharp not too far behind that.
I think this is Grunberg showing a temporary white flag. I think we might see him, white flag of surrender.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, what does that mean? I know in road racing, a white flag means a disabled vehicle is on, or a slow-moving vehicle.
Yeah, he's definitely not. Actually, that makes sense to, because
it's a surrendering vehicle. Yeah, basically, it's meant for, like, safety equipment and that sort of thing. The only time, and the fun fact in road racing, the only time a white flag means the last lap is if it's being displayed from the starter stand. Any other flag station, a white flag means a very different thing.
And actually, also just saw Kusu's down on the pit road. He's at the very edge of the fuel limit from being able to go on the rest of the way. So he's taking that chance to come down the pit road.
Well, here he is.
Miller to the inside.
And he's just going to blow right on by, at least 3rd place.
Yeah, teammates with the 54 Grunberg. I don't think he's going to put up much of a fight. I think Grunberg, again, like I was saying, I think he's just going to kind of let this play out. He's done trying to go for the lead. He's going to wait to get fresh tires on his car and then start to fight again once everyone cycles out.
And Delicato a little tight out of turn 2, had to carry the car up the hill. Grunberg goes to the bottom of the racetrack, go on through for second. James Miller comes on through. A couple other drivers thinking about hitting pit lane here shortly as the front 4 slip and slide and change positions, but Frankenfield is still hanging on to it.
I might see these guys wait till they can go till we're halfway through the race and kind of perfectly cut up the race into halves. In 5 laps time.
I love the numbers on these cars here, the 54.
Yeah, the
font is really nice. That's not a default font, is it?
No, I don't.
It's a custom one.
I don't think so.
Pretty sure it's a custom number. But
yeah, that looks too good to be a default font.
Yeah, the default fonts are bad, and they're not even organized by alphabetical order, which drives me crazy.
Yeah, I still don't understand how that's not being corrected. That has to be a mistake.
Yeah, I think they're in the order that they were added, which makes no sense.
Which is stupid. At least if you're gonna do that, at least do give an option for alphabetical. It's so hard to find. It's so hard to find the font you're looking for when it's alphabetical.
I love watching these cars. This is like this on big speedways too. You go off into the corner, your nose to tail, and everyone splits like Blue Angels doing an air show. One goes all the way up against the wall, one goes all the way to the yellow line, and they split. And out from behind those 2 splitting, you see another 2 or 3 doing the same thing. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah, it really is kind of a missed thing in racing. I feel like nowadays, there's very much as defined lines, or very few defined lines to go for. But here we're seeing a lot of different ways that guys have gone through the corners to make some sort of speed. There you see the 09. He's been pretty successful on that bottom lane. Might have a chance of passing 15 here.
Yeah, he's going to just lunge off into the corner. He's going to clear the 15 for only a moment, but now Frankfield's going to gas back up and hit the bump in the center 1 and 2. There's a nasty bump there, and he hit it, and he's going to slide up, and through goes to the lead, James Miller.
Oh, and I thought Frankfield was going to make one of those dives down into turn 3, wasn't able to get it done, and Miller running a great line in the middle of the track, able to get the best of both worlds, get a good entry and also a decent exit.
Now you can see that he wasn't handicapped by where the 15 car was. He's already gapped him by 0.4 of a second just on the front straightaway alone. Grunberg's still stuck behind the 15. I'm wondering if Frankfield's going to hold up the 54 as much as he did before. And Delicado's completely dropped off this group and now into the clutches of Tanner Sharp's number 3.
Yeah, I think really this race has fallen to amongst our top 5 at the moment. I think really any one of them has a really solid shot of winning this race. We're still going to keep ahead of Grunberg as the next time these guys come across the line will be halfway through this race. I can do math.
I can't. 170 divided by 2, I don't know what that's all about. Grunberg going to try the high side. Frankfield goes to the bottom. He's going to hit pit lane. Here he comes.
It's kind of right in cue, right at the halfway mark.
A tricky pit road to get to as well.
Oh, it very much is. You have to be very careful. You know, you think you can brake pretty late, but if you do, you're going to go flying off, and you're going to have to go around another time and lose quite a bit of time on the track doing that.
Checking in on Alex Boyd, who just came down to pit lane, but Nick Boyd in the number 74 was one of the drivers involved in that gnarly collision on the front straightaway. That car is almost all the way repaired. Still a bit of a punched up hood there, but a super cheap auto at the very least can get that replaced probably super cheap. So I don't think the race car is super cheap. So.
He's been struggling quite a bit. It's 2 laps down at the moment.
Delicado hits pit lane, and so does the 22 of Race Clark. Up at the front, James Miller leads, and I think he's got a good enough race car that and conserving tires enough that he can probably go for 3 or 4 more laps. But then he's going to be out of fuel, so he's got to come to pit lane soon.
Yeah, I think with the caution laps that these guys head to, I think maybe you can push 9,500 or being generous.
Yeah, it can actually go a little bit longer because he pit on one of those early yellow flags, so he could go for another 20 or 25 laps. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he'll come here pretty shortly. Heisman on fresh tires, going to squeeze up underneath the 09. Evan Finn going to leave pit lane. 4 tires and fuel for him. Tanner Sharp down to pit lane.
Slowly seeing our leaders, or at least our top 5, trickle in at different points. So everyone's kind of on a different agenda here. Here's we'll see again the 09 and 54 are teammates. iRacing, I believe, is what they're calling themselves now.
Yeah, so this is not really great for James Miller because he doesn't have the maneuverability that all these new drivers have on their fresh tires. The problem with that is that when they're passing him, they're slowing him down. So he's really struggling to let these cars by without losing time. Tanner Sharp is still in pit lane. He's this is normal time. I'm just keeping an eye on it. 14 seconds, 14 and a half, and he's free and away. But not much, if any, damage to repair on that 3 car. Otherwise, he would have stayed to replace it.
I think there definitely is damage to repair. He's not going to bother fixing it, though. Waste of time.
Miller hits pit lane from the lead. Grunberg's going to stay out, lead a lap, grab another point.
They actually, he's led a lap until just now.
I meant lead another lap, like in the grand scheme of points.
Oh, okay. But I don't think he's led a lap either.
No, he has not, because he came all the way back from a starting spot of 18th, rather. He's been a little ways. James Miller came from even farther back. His night started all the way back in 19th spot. Grunberg continues to lead the race. He'll go around one more time at least. He has not yet pit today, so he will have to come in the next lap or 2. That should turn the lead over to, looks like it'll be Chad Frankenfield in the 15, but Matt Hagethorn's right behind him, and so is Nick and Delicado right in the back of the shot.
I'm trying to look away at Nick Delicado is really that kind of group of guys we're looking at
Oh, 74, big slide in turn 4, the 00, big checkup. Oh, that killed Nick and Delicado's speed out of turn 4.
He was trying to decide where Lindsay was going to go, got out of the gas just to make sure, but that again cost him quite a bit of time on the track.
And Tanner Sharp is 4.5 seconds behind this, so he lost a bunch of time somewhere.
I'm trying to figure that out too.
He didn't pit that earlier, or that much later, so.
Yeah, we're looking at the pit lane too. I mean,
I think you just pit 2 or 3 laps later, and you know, a second, 2 seconds a lap, that'll get you pretty quick. So, but Frankfield's lead is now will be about 1.4 seconds, and Delicado was 3 wide for a moment with some other traffic, but he's through.
Really pushing the issue here with the tires.
I'm not quite sure. So he's just hoping he'll have a bunch of tire left at the end of the race, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to do this for fuel reasons. You can easily go to the end from here.
He's going to have to come in the next 5 laps minimum. Or maximum, sorry.
What's the, where's the stumble point?
I have no clue, and looks like he's
doesn't
not
matter,
going to
he's gonna
find out.
come.
Yeah.
Of a downshift, he'll head into the pit lane. 45 miles an hour, come get service. We'll see where he comes out. It'll certainly be behind Frankenfield and Delicato. Josh Clark, Nick Miller, and they're ahead of the other leaders, but they are 81 laps into the run. Will have to hit pit lane as well. So we'll expect to see those drivers here shortly.
Might even potentially just sit out here, wait for a caution to potentially come out.
That would be awesome for them if we did get one, but I'm not thinking that's going to be super likely. So Grunberg getting his tires put on the car, and Frankfield's going to already buy.
Say this. You saw that too, right?
What?
You just, all the tires were up. It was almost like they were air decks, or like a.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I noticed that with another car. I took a double take, and I was looking at him, and even they like lowered it all at the same time. Who tests this game?
Not me. Well, actually, we're all testers of this game, is what we are.
Apparently. I mean, what was it? It was not Sunday. It was Saturday when we saw the glow-in-the-dark walls.
Oh, yeah, at Charlotte, they have glow-in-the-dark lighting. You might be able to see that at the Erskine Roval if they're running at night. But for the lead, Chad Frankfield is going to cycle out here because Nick Miller is going to have to give up the lead at some point. To come down and get service, Josh Clark has just gone behind the 15 car in the background there, and there's Nick and Delicato, who will cycle to second. And we're closing in on 70 laps to go. We're getting down to the last little bit of this race as Miller hits pit lane.
Finally come on down to get service to his machines. I'll give the lead of the race back over to Chad Frankenfield.
So, now Frankenfield is out by himself. He can kind of pace this race.
Yeah,
and now he's in a good spot.
And he definitely needs to because, you know, if he burns his stuff much early, I mean, Delicato is pretty close in behind him and has got a slight tire advantage. And then Grunberg, though, he's 11 seconds back, pitting significantly later.
It's a 10-lap tire advantage.
That's quite a bit. I don't necessarily know if he can get up to the front, but if there is anyone in the field that could do it, I would definitely say it's a 54.
So Chad Frankfield is, it's almost half a lap.
It is a big gap, so that's kind of the curious thing, you know. Grunberg's definitely talented, but is it enough to make up that deficit?
So Grunberg is in turn 4, or no, excuse me, Frankfield's in turn 4, and Grunberg is at the middle, or entering 3 right now. So there's the yellow car into turn 1, Grunberg into turn 3. So it's a lot of time.
James Miller back in 20th.
I'm going to guess a penalty, perhaps, on the number 09. Yeah, his stop was 43.5 seconds. That had to be a stop and hold for 20 or 15 at the very least. So maybe a pit road speeding penalty put him 3 laps down and out of contention for sure. And he would have been in a good spot if that had not happened. So
yeah, that just kind of shows, you know, how much you'd be getting a speeding penalty, because 40, those extra 30 seconds, that's over a lap.
Yeah, well, there he is. Well, he's already 3 laps down, and his teammate, or rather the 15 car, has just put him another lap down. His teammate will eventually get there if they continue. But under 70 laps to go, Frankenfield and Delicato, Tanner Sharp 1, 2, 3, then Hackathorn Clark, the rest of your top 5. Clark needs to pit. That'll move Grunberg inside the top 5. But now we have to just sit and wait, because the tire strategies are all going to accordion back together. Everything's going to kind of condense and constrict as the older tires on Frankfield's car give up to the newer tires on Delicato, Sharp, and Grunberg.
You see the 09 Miller we're just talking about. He's going to try to get past Frankfield, put himself at only 2 laps down.
He'll need cautions, though. He needs cautions.
He's absolutely going to need cautions.
At least 2 or 3 of them. Drew Eisenman is in 7th, Kevin Finn behind, as well as the 44 of Michael Goodman, who is 3 laps down. And Matt Grunberg is just past Hackathorn for 4th place. So taking a look at the lap times, Grunberg's last time a 24.1, for Frankenfield a 24.4. It's a 3/10 difference, not quite as much as I was going to expect, but this difference might only grow as the tires age.
And again, this is kind of the interesting thing, with such a long green flag run that we've had. You really see these kind of different tire strategies play out. Obviously, we're really only going to know how it's going to play out until the last 10 or 15 laps. It's just a matter of looking at the lap times these guys are putting down. Obviously, the fastest of them is Matt Grunberg. You know, 24.2s, and Sharp 24.3 actually.
Yeah, so
24.4.
Grunberg is really used to being offensive. I think I like this strategy for him. Chad Frankfield's on a defensive strategy, and we saw him do that really well at the end of that first stint. But Matt Grunberg is best when he's attacking, and that's what he's doing right now. He's able to get the most out of the car. He's got a lot more tire to play with, but I also think that he's taking it sort of easy and making this advantage even more, because Frankfield knows he has to drive hard to make sure that he doesn't get run down. There's a long time left, still over 60 laps. To make those tires last that long in the 15, it's going to be hard. Yeah, Grunberg can take it easy, and he's still got an advantage.
And so just give you an idea how quickly Grunberg is lapping to Frankfield. Last lap through was almost half a second, a little over half a second faster than the 15 of Frankenfield.
And now the question becomes, what happens if there's a caution? That changes everything. Everybody pits, and you're back on the same strategy.
That's what Grunberg, I imagine that's what he's hoping that doesn't happen, because I think he feels that he's in a good position at the moment to get up to the 15 and pass him for the lead.
This is your fight for 6th. That's Drew Eisenman, 77 Eisen Designs Ford. And Kevin Finn in behind as he looks at the bottom of the racetrack. Haven't seen a lot of rubber accumulating here, but all the grooves seem to be working pretty well tonight. It's just a matter of where your car works.
And I think that might be kind of due. I have noticed, the track's kind of generally darkened across the board through the corners a little bit in comparison to the straightaways. Just because everyone is running everyone is running completely different lines through each other. There you see Eisenman on the bottom, Hackthorne in the middle, been a little bit above that, and even Velez in behind a different line as well for him. So because not a lot of guys are running the same line, there's not a lot of rubber being put down in a particular line. Yeah, I can't. English is hard.
Oh, Eisenman slide into turn 2. He's going to pull up in front of the 84, and now Kevin Finn at the bottom of the racetrack in the 14 on attack of the 77. Side by side through 3 and 4. Here comes Nathan Velez, a 4-horse race for 5th spot.
Try to get up to clear. Velez's going to chuck it really hard to the outside. Lost a lot of speed on entry.
60 laps to go for leader Chad Frankenfield. And Delicado's running about a 10th a lap quicker, but he's 1.5 seconds back from that yellow number 15. There is the 2nd place driver. Where's the 3rd place driver? Right back here, and look who's coming. At Grunberg.
It's going to be a pass for 3rd position if, shouldn't even say if. When Grunberg gets by, that's going to be potentially this time by as he dives it up the inside. Curious how much of a fight Sharp's going to put up. That disadvantage. So giving Grunberg a hard time.
I secretly wanted the 3 car to catch back up to the 15.
Oh, I absolutely did too. That would, I like when drama happens.
Not too much drama, just a little bit.
This race definitely could use a little bit more drama.
54 through to 3rd place. He's now 5.5 back from the lead and closing at, that time by was only a 10th a lap, but we're going to see him pick that right back up.
You know what, I'm surprised out of a lot of the races we've done when guys are mad at each other, we've very rarely seen what I like to call the Jeff Gordon method of retaliation. Where you wait on the track for someone to come by and take him out. We've not seen a whole lot of that.
Passional?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, touchy subject. Well, we did see it sort of, kind of, well, that's also the Matt Kenseth method.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right. I just saying, well, for Matt Kenseth, his car's wasn't his car already kind of messed up?
It was totally messed up.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like a almost perfectly clean car, like Gordon's was.
Well,
just
my question is, what has the guy done to you to make you that angry to have your car still clean? I guess doing what Frankfield did.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends how pissed off you are. Granted, there's a lot of loose because, Sharp is running in 4th. If he's running probably like, 15, 20th, he probably said, you know what, you move me out of the way, I'm having a really bad night, you're going to pay the consequences. But,
well, 5th place rather, 3 cars, Eisenman, Finn, and Velez. Right behind them, Justin Kolba's been closing in. Wants to put himself in this group. Grunberg's gained a 2nd since we last told you about him, which wasn't that long ago. And Delicado closed up to 9/10 back from Frankenfield. This is all shaping up, and Frankenfield is running out of time to stay out front. He's still got over 50 laps to go, and I just don't think this is going to work out for him.
Yeah, looking at the lap times, it's still putting a decent pace. Was almost 0.3 faster.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it looks like a decent pace. He's 77 slip through out of 4, but it's not. I mean, he's getting eaten up. I mean, Grunberg is now only 4 seconds back. It was 5.5 3 laps ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a lot, but over time, it's really adding up.
Yeah, my concern for Grunberg is, you know, even still being 4 seconds behind, by the time he gets there pushing his tires, will he have enough? We saw him struggle at the end of the last run to get by this 15.
Well, I think that was because he had to pass 15 on the bottom of the racetrack. I don't think the 15 is going to have a choice of where to run by the end of this run because he's going to have his stuff so beaten up as well. We're going to find out, but there's still so much time left. I just think everyone's going to be driving terrible handling cars by the end of this run.
And also to that point, too, I think the 15's been a lot more conservative on this run. We've seen a lot less of him jockeying back and forth from position like we saw in the first one where his tires were next to destroyed, I imagine, by the end of the run. So it's really, again, one of those, we're not going to see how it's going to play out until they finally get to each other. 94 Kluster is very slow on the bottom of the track.
I'm not sure what's going on there, but
I think it was letting people on by he's a lap down.
So, Indelicato's close into 0.7 of a second within Chad Frankenfield, and once these two start fighting, it's going to accelerate Gruenberg's catching of the leader. Now Gruenberg only back 3.5 seconds.
Slowly eating away at that gap.
There's your leader. There's Gruenberg. He's coming with 10 lap fresher tires, 50 laps to go, now 49 as they exit turn 4.
I'm actually amazed that Indelicato caught back. From the beginning of the run, it looked like he was going to potentially lose touch with Frankenfield, but has kind of swung that back around.
It's done a good job of reeling in the 15 for
and
sure.
And then what happens if Indelicato gets around the 15? He starts to drive away a little bit. That's kind of the other interesting thing too.
Well, Indelicato has 36 laps on his tires. Frankenfield has 37. They pitted about the same time. So Matt Gruenberg's advantage over Frankenfield is about the same one that he has over Indelicato. So if I'm anybody, I want to be the 54. I mean, that's the same thing as I'd say every week, but I really like the strategy that he's picked. Leaders tightening up, 15:51, 0.2 of a second separate them. Gruenberg now only back 2.7.
So last time when these guys were together, they were kind of leapfrogging each other, constantly switching back positions. Are we going to see that again? Indelicato going to be a little bit more aggressive there. He is trying to get a run down the quarter panel of 15. Doesn't have a look down as turn 1 gets close to the bumper though.
15's going to push up the racetrack. The 51's going to try to cross him up side by side for the lead. This time through.
Got a great drive off the corner, off of turn 2 now. Going to have a dive down into 3. Not having trouble placing that car to the inside. Going to gas it up. Has to lift to give space for the 15 Frankenfield. Not enough.
Smelling blood in the water. That Gruenberg is coming and coming quick. That time through is a half a second quicker than both our leader and our second place driver. They fight for long. It's going to even accelerate Gruenberg's chase. We work lap number 127 of 170. About 18 minutes of racing worth left in this race. Now Frankenfield's going to have to get really defensive. If he can do what he did last time and just keep making these guys use the bottom of the racetrack and wear out their tires, he might be able to hang on to win this thing. But it's certainly going to take a lot of effort and have to throw those dive bombs again on the slide jumps to make it stick.
Pulling back in behind. Trying to square up potentially for a second go at getting around Frankenfield. Meanwhile, Gruenberg again getting closer and closer in the mirror of both these guys. Back with a run, back with at least a look up the inside. I think honestly, he might have to place his car to the outside of the 15, which is again, it's going to be very hard to do. You can see Frankenfield pretty much as high as you can go. Going to cuts it down low in the middle of the corner, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to pass him on the bottom. I think that's been clear. We've seen that quite a bit. The question is, how do you get up there? I don't know. You're going to have to figure it out. Maybe move him.
I was going to say, he's going to have more.
How do you move someone down the racetrack?
Pin him in the quarter panel, inside quarter panel.
To right hook him.
Pretty much.
I mean, that doesn't work out well because he's going to go to the right, and that's where you'll be. I guess that's why that doesn't happen a whole lot. Yeah. You have to turn left into his right rear quarter panel, then back out, let him hit the wall. Then you can go on by.
I guess if you
caution!
Oh, never mind.
For Kevin Finn, the 14 car on the front straightaway with 40 laps to go. Our third caution of the night, And this is going to spice things up significantly. Everyone's going to come down, get tires and fuel. We're going to race it straight up to the end. Well, they just kind of came together. Just kind of a racing incident there. Oh, did a really good, still got some damage, but did a really good job.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing is, hopeful as you can get, being right behind an instant like this.
Just a light touch.
Wow. Did a great job being able to turn that car down while also braking enough to make that maneuver.
All right, so now, Larry Mack, a strategy.
Coming for tires, I wouldn't really bother taking through. These guys should have enough to make it all the way to the end and then some. So, let's see what these guys do here.
How about 2 tires?
Not if you're in the top 5.
How about no tires?
You're an idiot.
How about 1 tire?
Can't even do that anymore.
Whoa! Delicato really tight to the bumper of the 15 on the pit lane. Get a nice look at the Toyota Camry template on this car. This body actually fits quite nicely other than the size.
He's got an F1 helmet on there, I'm pretty sure. Hey, I see Petronas and a Mercedes symbol.
Well, in he goes. Better key up Lewis Hamilton if he wants to beat this 54 car.
I was gonna say, you need he's probably wish he'd have a F1 picker. Just watch the car. Oh, okay, the jacks are just do next to nothing. That's...
Well, he's off. And 1, 2, 3, as they came in, they will come out.
Jacks on these cars, my god, they barely lifted the car off the
ground. Now I'm excited. Do you want to know why?
Why? Oh, yes. So we're going to see another caution fairly shortly, I imagine.
I'm not that sure about it, but I know that Tanner Sharp had pace before.
I'm pretty damn sure, because, again, he has not been anywhere near the front, or at least he's not been in the top 3 since that happened to him, since he got essentially dumped out of it, got put in the wall by Frankenfield. So I gotta imagine there's some sort of payback coming towards him. It's also ironic, too, that Sharp's in the officials channel.
Well, he's going to need to stay there after the race, I think. Well, we're probably hyping this up when he's probably feeling fine. He probably doesn't even care, but I mean, I would too, but I'm different. That's why they put me in the booth, because I can't mentally handle being on the racetrack with other people. I don't race official very much for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I usually race in cars where you can't, because I like racing IndyCar and open wheel cars a lot. You can't really retaliate because
you're dead by the time.
I was gonna say either you get put in such a position where you're pretty much done, or if you even attempt at taking the other guy out, you're gonna ruin your own car. So
I don't race official anymore in road, at least anything higher than like basically Mustangs, because everyone thinks they're Ayrton Senna in GT3 and ILMS and IMSA, so I just don't try.
I get infinitely more enjoyment out of league racing, so that's where I've always been attracted to that more so than official. That's just me. There's nothing really particularly wrong with official, except that when everyone thinks they're Ayrton Senna or Dale Earnhardt on oval and just...
No, well, there's no patience.
Yeah.
Right? It's like people get there, then they want to pass you. It's like, how about you take a couple corners, you figure out what I'm doing, and then you try it.
No, you can only win on lap 1, turn 1.
Well, it's not even lap 1, turn 1. It's like lap 5, turn 6. They're still trying the same stuff. I'm like, guys, like, instead of just like yeeting into the corner the second you get to the bumper, why don't you like sit in behind me for a couple corners? And also, please don't run into my...
Set up a pass? Why set up a pass when you can do it?
If I've been braking in the same place for the last 20 laps, don't expect me to do anything different this next one. And also, don't try braking 100 meters later than me, because it probably won't work.
It'll work for a second, and it'll go flying off the track.
It'll work if you only care about stopping before the wall and not before the edge of the track. But either way. All right, we're going to restart with just about 35 laps to go, I think. 35 or 34. Chad Frankenfield is out up front right now. He led a majority of the early part of the race before it was Delicato, Grunberg, and the 09 of James Miller, who all got by him. James Miller is now only 1 lap down. Will still need a free pass.
I'm curious of all the wave rounds that are going by. Who Frankenfield's taking the top side of the field and line up in behind. But I really hope something happens to him. I want some drama. We haven't had a lot of...
You're so bloodthirsty tonight.
We haven't had some juicy drama in this series.
Juicy drama?
Yeah.
Last week we had like 20 cautions at the bull ring.
That wasn't drama. That was just cautions. That was just because people were spinning out because too much power for these things at a track like that.
Fair enough. So the 15 car will elect for the outside lane, and the 51 will head to the bottom of the racetrack, and the 3 car is going to be lined up behind. And I like this choice for Frankenfield in one way. I don't like it for another, because the 3 car is going to come with him, but he's trying to keep that 54 behind him. 35 laps to go at Iowa Speedway for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series. Frankenfield out front, green flag back in the air.
That's going to be a poor restart for Cannon Sharp, even if he isn't trying to get up to the bumper of the 15, just did not get a good launch in comparison to the other 3 guys around him. Speaking of which, here comes Delicado up the inside of Frankenfield.
Whoa, slide for the 51 car as he hangs onto it. Drag race down the backstretch into turn 3. Whoa. He turns left, almost right, hooks him into the fence. Here comes Grunberg up the inside lane.
Oh, the touch.
Oh, he's in the fence.
Oh, he somehow keeps it off, but we're still not done yet. Here we go, 3 wide, now back to 2 wide.
And Delicado to the lead down in turn number 1. Frankenfield desperately trying to get back to the front. Grunberg trying to make the bottom stick. He can't do it. A little bit of contact there as the 15 car slips up. The 54 now looking for second.
Here comes Grunberg back to the bottom on the inside of the 15 of Frankenfield. Frankenfield kind of boxed in with a car in front of him, car next to him, and a car a little bit ways behind him.
And Delicado was slipping and sliding, but he is out front now. And now the 54 has to deal with the 15. These two fought several laps before. I think Grunberg's got a better line now, but the 15 still hanging on as they exit turn 2. And there's the 3 car, the Mountain Dew logo looming on the hood of that 3.
Yeah, I'm curious now if he's going to do anything with them being 3rd and 4th. If he may try to pass 15 cleanly, we'll see. Speaking of which, here comes the pass from the 15 up the inside of Grunberg into turn 1.
Gonna try to send it again. He drove it in there deep. The 54 now pushes up the racetrack. Side by side for second. Grunberg's going to have this pass complete.
Great move by the 54, not going to set his sights on Delicado. Dives it deep into turn 3 to make up some ground.
Nick Delicado, remember back at Lime Rock Park earlier in the season, he swept those races. I don't think he's been to victory lane since then. He wants to win at an oval, at a short track. He's in position to do it tonight. He has to hold off the 54 of Grunberg for 30 more laps. I'm not sure if he can do it. It's hard to beat one of the best.
Yeah, it really is. And here comes Grunberg up the inside. Delicado side by side for the lead. Here we go. 30 laps to go.
Oh, it's going to be hard to complete this pass down there, but Grunberg did it before. 30 laps to go. And Delicado continue to roll the outside lane. The 54 can't make it stick. I think the best thing Delicado can hope for is that the 54 beat up his stuff doing this at lap after lap, but Nick Delicado cannot make a single mistake. He needs to be perfect every single lap, because as soon as you give the guy clearance, he's through.
Especially for Grunberg and behind. If you give him an opportunity, he's definitely going to take it. He's been trying with what he's been given up that inside, but again, the outside lane looking the place to be at the moment. Especially the line that Delicado's running. That time it went really wide on entry into turn 3.
Oh, he's going to have a side by side of the exit of 4, but he can't leave him that much space. You need to pinch a little bit, and he will re-clear the 54, but I don't think you can keep entering this high up the racetrack. That time it was a little bit better, but he's still giving the 54 a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, definitely.
15 again.
That entry is definitely working a lot better, I think, in 3 and 4, not so much in 1 and 2. He got back more alongside in turns 1 and 2. Now here they go, back on the opposite side of the track. This is where that run off the corner really benefits Delicado. You see him almost able to get completely clear back on entry.
But is this a losing battle, though? I mean, we know the 54 is probably quicker, but how long do you think the 51 can hang on? I only reckon for another 3 or 4 laps.
I think it can hang on for quite a bit. Actually, there you see him get completely clear back on Grunberg. If anything, it's a you're disadvantageous if you're on the bottom. You're more advantage up on top. You're saving your tires up a little bit more, forcing the guy on the inside to work harder.
You know, he's going to keep running the same line.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change it. It's been working so far.
Give the 54 some time to think about an alternate strategy, though. You know, maybe there's something to be said for moving around just to keep Matt Grunberg guessing. But now Grunberg follows the 51 in line. And a bit of a slip and a slide by the 51. That would give the 54 a run. As we close into the final stages of this race, less than 10 minutes of racing left at lap 146 of 170. Now the 54 back to the bottom of the racetrack, pulls even with the quarter panel for a moment, tucks back in line.
Gonna have another look here. I'm curious how Grunberg is going to try to change this up, because again, Delicado looking to be in the catbird seat at the moment.
He's doing a really good job nailing his lines. A little bit high into 1 that time through. Grunberg again taking a peek, but he's not up alongside far enough. Going to keep a little bit of overlap into turn 3 and maybe just drive off in here, but you're going to do something like what Frankenfield did earlier.
Put the car on the wall?
Just drive. No, I'm saying I'm saying drive off into the corner and clear them.
I was not supposed to be really shady.
Okay, I'm glad.
I wasn't sure what you were referencing.
Oh, you know what I was referencing.
No, I didn't, apparently. Speaking of that, though, Sharp, I would have thought they would have been able to hang at least with this top 3, but he's kind of drifted on back into a group of his own. He's got really no one around him at the moment, sitting in 4th.
Out of turn 4, we're closing in on 20 laps to go, and Delicato leads, and Grunberg, not sure if the tires are starting to fall off or what, but he does not have the pace that he had a few laps ago. So Delicato continues to lead, 1, 2, 3, and Delicato, Grunberg, Frankenfield, and Sharp, Kolb, Hackathorn, Eisenman, Brent Miller, Kevin Finn, Nathan Velez, the rest of your top 10.
The track definitely seems to be favoring the leader, putting them in a more favorable spot. Wow, got really close to the wall off of turn 4 in the 54 machine.
So now what for Grunberg? What do you do different? Is there anything you can do different?
Again, I would maybe, potentially try to fight for that top spot. If anything else, force 51 of Delicato into a mistake. But that inside lane definitely not going to be working. He's definitely able to make up time on that inside lane. It's just the pass that he's having trouble with down there.
Here we go, 20 laps to go at Iowa Speedway for the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series, and Delicato and Grunberg in a juggernaut battle for the lead here. And Delicato slips up out of turn 2. Grunberg closes. He's got 20 laps left, just shy of 20 miles. Going to take another look to the bottom.
I think if anything as well, I think it's really going to come down to him maybe potentially setting up, like what we've been seeing in Cup for the, last few seasons. Is, just getting a great exit out of the corner previous and then absolutely launching it down into the corner. And I think he's going to have to do something like that, start setting up the corner before to make a pass, because these kind of channel dives down the inside is not paying out at the moment.
Well, we saw Frankenfield almost successfully do 3 or 4 different slide jobs. If I'm the 54, I'm not sure if he was close enough to see that last time. I would give that a try. If you do it now, you still have time to recover and try something normal again, but don't wait till the last lap to give that a go, because it might not work. I'd like to try that now and figure out if I can make it stick.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely needs to try this whole run, though. Like you said, cannot wait for the last lap. It's not going to come down a last lap pass. If anything, maybe in the last 10, last 5 laps. But it's going to be a process.
He's so close, and he could use the bumper. He's generally saved up enough nice guy points the last few months. Doesn't typically get himself in a whole lot of trouble with other drivers.
I think for a guy like him that wins quite a bit, I don't think it's really going to look too favorable if he just starts dumping people for the win. I don't think he'll get quite a few brownie points from other guys in the league.
He's got a few to spend, but I'm not sure that you want to cash in all of them at once. 16 to go now. Grunberg still right in the bumper of Delicato, starting to wear him out. You see him starting to try to apex his corner later and pull the car down on exit.
This is what he needs to start doing, is just building up these runs. Again, it's going to be easier said than done, though. Delicato's been pretty solid. He's figured out a really solid run. He's been running it consistently ever since the restart.
We have to really give Delicato a lot of credit here, because he is doing so well under pressure right now. It's so difficult to hang on in front of this 54 car. We've seen very few people actually be able to do it. Here comes Grunberg back to the bottom of the racetrack, though. Going to try to drive off into 3, but again, as you mentioned it, you described it as a gentle dive. I don't think it's going to work. You're going to have to try something different. 14 to go.
Whoa. Sideways for both of them off the corner. But I think you're going to need to do something Carl Edwards in Kansas.
Well, now it's just these two, though. It's almost 2 seconds back to find Chad Frankenfield. So now it's a 2-horse race. You can try something. You're not going to lose that much time. The worst you're going to finish right now, if you have a little bit of battling, is second. Give it a go. If Frankenfield starts closing back in, then back off, sit in line, don't waste your race. But I'd say go for it. 13 left. Uh-oh, in the background. See the 15 car dropping into the sights of the 3.
I feel like at this point, might not necessarily be worth taking him out.
Well, I think it would be more worth taking him out now, because look at the laps left. We got to have less than 10 laps to go. You get a chance to win the race on a Hail Mary. I'm 3 Tanner Sharp. This makes a whole lot of sense. The problem is, You don't want an admin to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that and also he's going to get absolutely destroyed point-wise. And
but
I think, if anything, might even have the win.
Keep it in perspective, right? That's the thing. You gotta think about, is it worth it? Probably not. Do I want to see it? Yeah. 11 laps to go. Leaders nose to tail. Behind them, third and fourth, also the same.
I definitely think it's going to be aggressive though. This pass for position. Sharp definitely faster than that 3. There you go.
Oh, he's in the 15. He lifted and left him a little bit more space. He's going to give him the spot here, I think. And so I think that pretty much answers the question about how everybody feels about that. I think Sharp is okay with that, all things considered. Back around, there is Brent Miller and 77 Eisenman trading spots. That's for 6th, or 7th rather.
Good job for spots back up front.
10 laps to go.
Battle still brewing amongst them, and Delgado has done a fantastic job keeping the 54 Grunberg in behind.
Well, now it's lap traffic. You got to figure out, can Grunberg use one of these cars to pin the 51?
I think, you know, the way this track is, I think if anything, it might hurt the car in behind more. You can feel for it in Delgado. He's got more choices, and it also really depends on where this lap traffic is. Guys have had battling for position, it seems.
That's Race Clark, and I think that's Nick Miller. Yeah, it is. So this is for position. That's actually for 12th. That fight right in front of him.
Oh, he caught him.
Oh, that's going to be a bad spot for the 51 to catch him. He's going to have to leave open the outside lane. Grunberg sees that. He's going to try to sneak up there. And now Delicado's got to cover.
Delgado's lucky that
it's going to hurt him big time here. He's going to have to follow the 9 car out of turn 4. Not as bad as I thought. 8 laps to go.
Oh, this might hurt him though. Here he ruins his entry into the corner, but the 9 moves out of the way.
Hurt the 54 a little bit as well, so they're both on through. No harm, no foul. I think it actually helped the 51 at the end of that.
That's what I was thinking, just kind of the way this track is, the way it's driving. Leader a little bit more advantageous with that.
7 laps to go. The laps counting down. Grunberg running out of time. He's been the dominant force in this series and all the other 3-wide series. Pretty much everything he climbs into, every track we go to, he is a force to be reckoned with. Started his day back in 18th place, but he will only have 6 laps left at Iowa Speedway to get it past done on Nick and Delicado. Delicado's wins came earlier in the season, rounds 3 and 4 at Lime Rock Park. The doubleheader won both of those races. 6 more go-arounds in Iowa, and he'll be a 3-time winner this season.
I was going to say, we'll take a quick look back in behind. There's a big battle going on for 3rd with Tanner Sharp and Frankenfield, and also there you see now Cope Hackathorn involved as well as the laps begin to wind down. We could potentially see a caution come out.
Oh, there's another push from the 15 and the 3.
Oh,
getting dicey, baby. 5 laps to go for the leaders.
This is not what Delicado would want to see. Here comes Frankenfield up the inside of Sharp.
Oh, he's going to push him again. Oh, he's running him up the racetrack.
He's going to get boxed in here behind the lap car. Race Clark.
Where's Race Clark going to go? Tanner Sharp not aggressive enough with that 22 car. Completely boxed in. The 52 and around goes the 22 car. Is he going to spin all the way around? Yes, caution with 4 laps to go. That'll be a green-white checkered, I think.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, indeed.
And Nick and Delicado just sighed a big sigh. And not a good sigh. That's a nervous sigh because the 54 is going to have a run at him. Oh, let's go back and take a look.
Yeah, no, and I had a feeling there was going to be a caution coming out of that. I thought it would have been with the 3 and the 15.
I thought the 3 and the 22 were going to, I mean, right there. Obviously, nowhere for the 3 to go. But I feel like, if we go back and look at this again, I feel like the 3 should have been more aggressive, pushing the 15 over left. Right here. He left them the space.
Yeah, there was barely... You
got to make the space.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would have had to door the heck out of the 15 to make it happen. There you see.
Race Clark right there is just the ball and the 52 the bat. Oh. 74 car, Nick Boyd just missing what could have been another hard hit today. They come through 3 and 4, and Delicado will be your leader. What do you do on pit road?
Yeah, you don't come down to pit road. I would come out of the box. If I was crew chief, I would come out of the box and slap you across the face. You come down to pit road. Are you serious? No way.
Oh my.
Okay.
Okay.
I think he saw his crew chief up on the box pointing a gun at him.
He got within range and said, oh, maybe not. He saw the laser on his forehead.
Yeah, no, I mean, wait, 2 laps to go. I mean, we're talking, at a track like, at Indianapolis with the Indy car, yeah, that'll help you out. Here, no, it's not, because, the laps are going to be over in a minute. So, yeah. Oh, man.
Well,
Really thought he was going to that for a second.
You really had me convinced. Good thing I wasn't on the racetrack. I would have fallen for that. So we're over our scheduled distance now. We'll be we were scheduled for 171 or 170 laps. Now we are going to be at least 173 by the time we get restarted. And Nick and Delicato, I want to choose the bottom. That's what I want to do. I mean, I think just that first corner, I think you need the shorter way around. You're not up to speed all the way yet. I think you need the short way.
Well, again, the thing you have to consider, too, is the fact that 9 times out of 10, the guy who's leading the restart is going to get a significantly better jump
We
than the guy
didn't see that on the last run, the last restart, though. They restarted and they were pretty even. So I think that's what I would do.
It does depend. It does depend on who is the restarter, though.
Well, Matt Ruber, and it's pretty good. So, if I have to run side by side, I want to have position on the bottom so I can run them up the racetrack if I need to. As soon as we get to turn 3, I want the top. But I think the first set of corners, I think you need to be on the bottom. You just don't have enough power to get there to carry that momentum. You don't have any momentum to carry yet. I think you got to choose the bottom. And this is a wide enough racetrack where that is a significant advantage, I think, when you're still getting up to speed.
Let me see what Delicado's going to pick. I believe they're going to get one to go next time.
And this is our only attempt at the green-white checkered, I believe.
Yeah.
This is the one chance that we get. And if caution comes out again, the race will be over. And Delicato is hoping they wad it up immediately because I'm not confident that he'll be able to drive away. He was doing a good job before, but once you put Broomberg alongside you and you get the elbows out, it's going to get really aggressive.
Jesus Christ.
I got my elbow out.
Okay, it's elbowing.
It's not over yet.
Let's commentate the race from here.
Okay.
Gonna get one to green. Nope, not this time. I forgot this is one of those tracks with the cautions.
I told you. Caution's low here, dude. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. So now we have to think. I mean, I would, if this was a cup car, I'd consider who's behind me, but you can't really bump draft in these cars.
Oh yeah. It's a fact. I think it's gonna straight up come down to between these two. I think the guys behind are not gonna be a non-factor for the win unless the two up front get into a wreck.
Well, the two in row 2 are still a turn. Although Tanner Sharp has been very restrained. I think we've seen a similar amount of one-way contact before, and it didn't always end up well for the givee, the giver, yes. But I'm gonna find out here. In just over a lap's time, we'll have 174 laps in this race. That's 4 more than we signed up for earlier tonight.
Ooh, and
I told you. I think this is the choice that I would make. In my heart, I really feel like this is the right choice.
But how many oval races have you won?
I don't really race oval, so that's not really a fair question. I've won several oval races, but they were on road courses.
yeah, because you exploited NASCAR's, or not NASCAR, iRacing's dump system.
Hey, it's not an exploit if it's the game, okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game. But I have won some oval races.
At Watkins Glen.
It's a good track. Needs to be rescanned, though.
Here we come for the restart. It's going to be the final restart of the night.
Who do you think wins it, 51 or 54?
I think the 51.
54. I'm kidding. I wanted the 51, but you stole it, so I'll take the other one. All right, here we go. Out of turn number 4, the 3-wide Racing League Grand National Series. 2 laps to go. Green-white checkered from Iowa. Green flag back in the air. 51 with an incredible restart. He'll clear the 54 before they get to turn 1, and he's got the lead. Can he hang on for just under 2 miles?
Yeah, that was a fantastic restart from Delicato. Can he hold on? We'll see what happens here in behind them. For Tanner Sharp, didn't get a good restart at all. Hackathorn up into 4th.
Here we go. Battle to the white flag. The 51 high, the 54 low. White flag in the air for Delicato. We will race to the end of this race.
Okay, Gruber's going to have effectively 2 chances here. He's going to have one shot down into turn 1. Looks like he's not going to take advantage of it. Maybe try to set up something down into 3.
Oh, he had to lift for a minute. He hit the bump and the car was unstable. Nick and Delicato, he swept at Lime Rock Park in rounds 3 and 4. Now later in the season, can he finish off this race? 54 to the bottom, 51 up high, checkered flag waves, and Nick and Delicato, he'll bring it home for his 3rd win on the season and go to victory lane in Newton, Iowa. Behind him, slipping and sliding, crash hard in the wall is the 9 car of Nick Miller.
Also the 28 Race Clark around.
Josh Clark in the 28.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Josh Clark in the 28.
But for the 51 celebration, and elation. Getting congratulatory bumps and bangs from fellow competitors. Not the first race he's won this season, and probably not the last. We head to a road course in Montreal, Canada next week. That's where he seems the most comfortable of anywhere. And burn it down he will. Not quite as practiced as Matt Gruber with that particular burnout, but congratulations to Indelicato for a job well done at Iowa. Here's a look at your race results. And Indelicato, the New Yorker, he'll get it done. Matt Grunberg, second place. Barely fought battle, didn't touch him, didn't rub him, didn't bang him. Stayed in behind and lost by a tenth of a second. Chad Frankenfield in third, Matt Hagthorne in fourth, and Tanner Sharp in fifth, and Eisenman, Fisher, Finn, Miller, and Cole, the rest of your top 10. And for Klooster, Sims, Dewar, and Story, not a great day. Story didn't even start the event, so 24th he will be. We'll be back in just a minute with interviews. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV and the 3-Wide Racing League Grand National Series here with Matt Grunberg, where we're usually in victory lane talking about a celebratory night. But Matt, I know it's going to be a fun one for you. You had a great battle and fight with Nick and with Chad Frankenfield, but coming home second place. Got to be pretty happy with that, but I know you wanted one spot more.
Yeah, the caution there after the first round of pit stops, I think we were in a good position there. We had about 10 lap fresher tires, and we were catching the front two, Chad and Nick there. And then the caution came out, and it kind of put us all on equal ground. And with how fast those guys were on the top, it was just making it impossible to make the pass on the bottom unless you had a tire advantage. So it was real difficult to try to make the pass on the bottom. I was going to try to get close enough to maybe do a slide job, but ultimately it just never worked out. And Nick did a good job managing the race there at the end and keeping me behind him. So I mean, you really earned that win. And yeah, all in all, it was a good race. Hope everyone enjoyed the cartoon cars. It's a really nice change of pace.
A lot of fun, Matt. Thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on a solid top 5 run. Second place for the 54 tonight.
Thank you.
Got out to Chad Frankenfield, who drove the number 15 car tonight. And Chad tonight started with a really good run up at the front of the field, led some laps, some big dive bombs into turn 3 and 1, but ultimately came home third place. The pace dropped off throughout the race and couldn't quite get it back up to the lead after the pit stops. Walk us through your night tonight.
Yeah, in the first part of the race, I kind of just was shooting myself in the foot. I hit the wall twice. It kind of killed me. I probably could have been able to gap a little bit. I feel bad for getting in the Tanner there. I let him go by later in the race just to kind of, try to even it out at least a little bit. But and then obviously I really wore out the right front on some of the moves, so I pitted early, and you know, and then obviously the yellow late. But yeah, I'm not real happy with how I was passed for the lead. You know, but it is what it is.
Hey, Chad, a nice solid top 5 run regardless, though. 3rd place. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Tanner Sharp next up. He finished in 5th place tonight in the number 3 car. Tanner, there was some tense moments out there on the back straightaway between you and the 15 a couple times throughout the race, but you bring home your Mountain Dew and Simpson-sponsored Chevrolet in 5th spot. How about tonight? What do you feel?
Feel like we could have got more. I mean, as fast as these guys are, they're up towards the front, we don't need to be hitting the bumpers, but the credit to Chad, he did race me clean towards the end of the race there for 3rd place, so I mean, I'm not going to get mad at all in the world about it. But yeah, I was surprised I was that quick tonight with these fast guys. Holy crap. So it was good to have Simpsons on the card here tonight since it's cartoon night, probably one of my favorite cartoons. And yeah, we were just fast. Since we got a little damage from that incident with the 15, and it really kind of slowed our car down aerodynamically a little bit. We were still competitive, but you know, it still slowed us down. I didn't even get a fix at all. I just wanted to continue to keep the track position. So it was a real shame towards the end of the race that we got that caution. I mean, that was, in my opinion, unnecessary caution. But yeah, we come home with P5. Probably should have got more, but I'm learning these guys, and hopefully I can get the victory lane one of these days.
And next week we head to Montreal, Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Another road course on the schedule. How do you feel about that track, and do you think you can perform well there?
Yippee. I mean, just had to turn some laps and hit my marks just right. Basically, the goal is, okay, we know we're fast, but now we're facing a road course standpoint. Let's just try to fight for track position, trying to get a good finish out of it as best we can, and then focus on the next oval race as well. So that's just going to be the thing going forward, is just kind of continuing to hit our marks to see what we can do.
All right, Tanner Sharp, 5th place tonight in number 3. Tanner, thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Moving on now to race winner Nick Indelicato, and tonight he led a bunch of laps. He held on to the lead with the 54, charging from behind him. Nick, you held off Matt Grunberg, which is not easy to do, and after sweeping Lime Rock Park a few weeks ago, you'll get your 3rd win of the season here at Iowa tonight. Walk us through it.
Always got to be a caution at the end. No, it was a really good race. I knew it was going to be me, Grunberg. Frankenfield was really fast. I think we were like all within a second on like lap 70 all together in the top 4. So no, it was really fun race. Finally got one after a couple mishaps last week at Las Vegas. Bad tire strategy on my part, and then ended up getting a penalty at Texas. But happy to get one. Got a cool comic car for this week. It looks really nice. Shout out to Seth Rawls Designs for that one. But yeah, no, it was overall a really fun race. Hard racing.
Next week, we head to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, another road course on the schedule. We saw how good you were in Connecticut at Lime Rock Park earlier this season. Is that a race that you expect to win next week?
I wouldn't say expect to win, because there's so many spots you can make mistakes, and this car is really unpredictable, but it depends. We'll see when we get there. I like the track, but again, you can make mistakes anywhere. I hope I can finish somewhere in the top 10, though.
Nick, congratulations. It was a really solid run for you tonight. We look forward to seeing you on the road course in Montreal next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for broadcasting this.
Absolutely, Nick. Have a good one. All right, that's going to do it for the race tonight. Finian had to go. He's got a school project to finish up here before midnight, so let him leave a little bit early. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Kyle Heyer. Was with Finian DeCuna. He's off and away. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series, or Premier Series, rather. That will be at Atlanta Motor Speedway in Atlanta, Georgia. And then we'll also be streaming the Grid Life Quarantine Cup with the MX-5s from Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, and in the other part of Atlanta tomorrow, Brazelton, Georgia. So that's where we'll be. Make sure you visit us tomorrow in those 2 places. There will be Fuel on Sim TV and Grid Life on the Grid Life channel. We'll see you there. Have a wonderful night.